But ultimately, he is a room reader. And as a room reader, he recognizes that if he moderates his position now, then he can maybe capture the attention of larger swaths of the Republican Party's youth and keep pushing the Republican Party to lean further and further into mass deportation and punishing people for being communists, punishing people for being socialists. Emmanuel Macron is on a generational run, despite the fact that at the domestic level, he is toast, okay? Emmanuel Macron is cooked. And I don't mean that in like a slop tuber, Hassan Piker is 100,000% cooked or done type way. His approval ratings are lower than dirt, shit from the butt. He's gone, okay? So the last thing that he has as le president is basically running around and interfering in foreign affairs. And he's been doing this for a while. He's been talking a big game about like how he's going to send troops to Ukraine, all this stuff. But then also he's become this like bold voice in defending Palestine. I can't believe I'm saying this out loud. Obviously, it's fake, right? It's not like super sincere or whatever. But a big part of that is because he's been pressured from the likes of Jean-Luc Mélenchon, who has been uncompromising. François Baud has been uncompromising in defending Palestinians and even defending Muslims living in France as well. So he sees this as an opportunity to win favor. It's not really working, but here he is in New York, on the streets of New York, after going on a bunch of other American news outlets and talking about how what Israel is doing is not good. They are killing the children in France. We like the children. We like it. And then today, yesterday, he also recognized officially a state of Palestine, which is, again, mostly just a symbolic gesture with a bunch of conditions and whatnot. But now he was stuck. Apparently, he was stuck behind a police blockade because the president has been roaming the streets of New York. Let's take a look.
So how many people? No, I have 10 people with me. I go to the French embassy.
No. I'm sorry, I'm president. I'm really sorry. It's just that everything's frozen right now. There's a border gate coming right. That's why.
Oh, sorry. If you don't see it, let me cross. I negotiate with you.
No, it's not that.
How are you? Guess what? I'm waiting in the street because everything is frozen for you. Are you sorry?
It is pretty funny that he got stuck behind a police blockade, a police barricade, and he had to call up the president. Guess what? I am stuck waiting for you.
I don't know, I've seen 3 or 4 in the afternoon. But I would love if we can. Yeah, I know, I would follow. But after I would love if we can have a short discussion with Qatar and you on the situation.
That's a crazy thing to add on. Mr. President, I am currently stuck on the street. Also, we would like to talk to you about Qatar. He took photos with like people that wanted to take photos with him. He was basically doing some Zohran shit. Little bro thinks he's Zohran, okay? That's what it is. Little bro thinks he's Zohran. You ain't Zohran, little bro. You ain't Zohran. Don't try it. Let me see if I can find the clip. Hold on. No, I don't know if I can find it. Here's a TikTok.
I'm sorry, I'm the president. I'm really sorry. It's just that everything's frozen right now. There's a border gate coming right now. That's why. I'm sorry.
If you don't see it, let me cross. How are you? Guess what? I'm waiting.
All right, we saw this. Oh, yeah. After calling Trump, the road was eventually clear, but Macron still had to walk through the city for about 30 minutes. Passersby stopped him to take photos, with some even kissing him on the head. So it is kind of cool to see this, even though he is the worst piece of shit. I mean, I hate him. I hate him so much. But low-key aura, he's basically able to walk freely on the streets of New York without additional fears, you know? I mean, that's like, whoever does that, that is still cool. You know what I mean? He is everything that I despise about liberalism, the constant caving and constant capitulation to right-wing framing on right-wing issues, whether it be immigration, like an anti-immigrant agenda, Islamophobic agenda. He's done it all. Constant austerity, tax breaks for the wealthy, and a debt crisis that comes along with it, only to take away from the pockets of working class French people, playing a formative role in ruining the lives of regular everyday French people. It just sucks. He's done it all. He's done all of the bad things. Everything that I despise about the Democratic Party, Macron has put into action. Okay. Also, Trump was forced to walk up the UN headquarters escalators after the malfunction. Real Antichrist hours. His fat ass done bricked it, dude. Bad escalator, President Trump referred to during his address to the UN Assembly. A UN official said the UN understands that someone from the president's party who ran ahead of him inadvertently triggered the stop mechanism on the escalator. The official, speaking on condition of anonymity, said the White House was operating a teleprompter for Trump. So he's the one who bricked the teleprompter and he's the one who bricked the escalator. I totally believe this. You seeing this? Nothing works. Nothing works. Nothing works. And then his teleprompter malfunctioned while he was giving his Antichrist speech at the UN, obviously, which is expected, which, for the record, I mean, he loves freestyling anyway, right?
Don't mind making this speech without a teleprompter because the teleprompter is not working. I feel very happy to be up here with you nevertheless, and that way you speak more from the heart. I can only say that whoever's operating this teleprompter is in big trouble.
I mean, he is like,
In a period.
let's be real. Let's be real. Off the cuff, he is goated off the cuff, usually. Okay. He's got it. He's got it. He still sometimes has it. This was one of those he's still got it moments. Not that it matters because, I mean, he is a demon. He is a straightforward demon. Okay. We are in official demon time. I don't know how else to explain it to you. We are 100% officially firmly in demon time. I watched some of the I watched some of his speech this morning where he talked about how climate change is fake. How he said that the United Nations is a purposeless organization, which is kind of true, but not in the way that he implies it. You have made it a purposeless organization. So, he went off on a bunch of different shit.
Period of just 7 months, I have ended 7.
He demanded that he get a look for the Nobel Peace Prize. This is the funniest place to say he ended 7 wars because the dudes who he has supposedly ended the wars of are there in the room. Okay? This is one of the only places where you can't say that because they're in the room with you. You know what I mean? They could be like, no, you didn't do that. That's actually we're still warring, big dog. Daniel Dale hit the fact check on this. We're back. We're so back. Liberalism is so back. Ooh, I'm fact checking. Okay. We got fact checking. We got fact checkers. Egypt-Ethiopia dispute was over an Ethiopian dam. There was no raging war that thousands killed. There was no Serbia-Kosovo active war to stop. Congo-Rwanda is not resolved and hostilities continue. India denies Trump mediated any ceasefire. Inflation is not defeated and rising 2.9% from 2.7%. Grocery prices are up due to tariffs. U.S. electricity costs are up 6.2% year over year. There is no $17 trillion in U.S. investment. His own press secretary cited around $9 trillion, and even that is dubious. China is the world leader in wind power usage. I used to make fun of the debunkers, and I'd be like, oh my God, I'm debunking. But like low key, don't it always seem to go? You don't know what you got till it's gone. They pave paradise and put up a parking lot. Ooh la 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 la. With respect to the debunkers, okay? It turns out that the debunkers were actually doing the most basic component of mainstream media, okay, which was absolutely a necessity. And I never thought that I would welcome Daniel Dale back with open arms, okay? Why did you make fun of them in the first place? Because they're nerdy and I'm a fucking idiot. That's why. But also, I mean, the real reason is because the debunkers also will use that debunking status to sometimes debunk things that are not wrong. Like whenever fucking Bernie Sanders says some shit about like Medicare or something, they'll be like, oh, I'm debunking.
And Thailand, Kosovo and Serbia, the Congo and Rwanda, a vicious, violent war that was, Pakistan and India, Israel and Iran, Egypt and Ethiopia, and Armenia and Azerbaijan.
At least he got the names right this time. He didn't say like Albania and Cambodia or whatever. I mean, that's good, right?
I didn't think of it at the time because I was too busy working to save millions of lives. That is the saving and stopping of these wars. But later I realized that the United Nations wasn't there for us. They weren't there. I thought of it really after the fact, not during these negotiations, which were not easy. That being the case, what is the purpose of the United Nations? The UN has such tremendous potential. I've always said it. It has such tremendous.
I just don't understand. Like, you basically use the UN like a fleshlight, right? That it serves its purpose that way. It's supposed to create an environment of like robust international cooperation at the behest of America's goals. And that is precisely what it has done. That is precisely the reason, for example, why the United Nations has not been able to get any motion on numerous things that the rest of the planet agree on universally. Like food being considered a human right, for example. It's like America and Israel don't like it, so it doesn't matter. Or lifting the unjustifiable trade embargo on Cuba. The rest of the planet agrees on it. The United Nations agrees on it. Doesn't really matter. America just says, nope, it doesn't matter. What I don't understand is like, or the million different ceasefire resolutions and things of that nature where America says, nope, we're defending Israel. We're attached to the fucking hip with Israel. It don't matter. Oh, by the way, Macron is now live with Trump. We'll go there. Okay. And we'll see what's up.
But after almost 2 years of war, what is the result? Once again, they killed the top leaders of Hamas. It works. This is a great achievement.
Oh,
but
great
at the same time,
achievement.
you have as many Hamas fighters as you had the first day. So it doesn't work to dismantle the Hamas.
But I speak to Israeli families, and they want the son who died. They want their dead son back as much as though he were alive. And it's an amazing thing to see, and it's a horrible thing, actually, to witness, but I've seen it a lot. So they have 20 hostages, they have 38 dead bodies, and we have to have them back, and we have to have them back immediately. Thank you very much, everybody.
That's all they care about, bro.
Thank you so much.
That's all they fucking care about. It's crazy. It's crazy that that's the conversation. It's like, do you not, like, no one turns around, even Macron, who's like flexing here by showing how different he is from Donald Trump and how much he's disagreeing with Donald Trump. Like, no one could just turn around and be like, dude, what are we talking about here, man? What do you mean the bodies? Like, Israel doesn't care. It's a genocide. It's no excuses. There are no excuses for genocide. Okay, we're talking about possibly 600,000 plus Palestinians severely wounded, killed, displaced, and you guys are still talking about October 7th. Shut the fuck up. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Trump wants eternal war in the name of the hostages while the family members of the hostages oppose it and want a negotiated settlement. Pure evil, man. Pure evil. Pure evil. All right, let's continue with this dipshit.
Potential. but it's not even coming close to living up to that potential. For the most part, at least for now, all they seem to do is a really strongly worded letter and then never follow that letter up. It's empty words, and empty words don't solve war. The only thing that solves war and wars is action. Now, after ending all of these wars and also earlier negotiating the Abraham Accords, which is a very big thing for which our country received no credit, never receives credit.
There was another thing that happened this past week that we didn't even talk about, obviously, but Argentina. It turns out Argentina and the Ancapistan methods that Javier Milei implemented was bullshit. They need another bailout. Oh my God. Isn't that wonderful how that works? Socialism is always a failure because we have to obviously put our fucking hand on the scales. And capitalism is always a success. And that's precisely the reason why we have to, once again, put our hand on the scale to ensure that it continues. The libertarian way, baby. I thought this was a resounding success. What happened? Every liberal, every market understander was talking about how Milei was actually saving Argentina. What happened? 43% poverty. Poverty is like exploding. Meanwhile, they're getting another fucking bailout. Why is Javier Milei, the world's leading libertarian, kept getting bailed out now at the expense of the American taxpayer? You'd think he'd reject government handouts. Milei is turning to the U.S. after tapping $20 billion from the IMF this year, stretching the fund's capacity for further bailouts to the limit. Argentina had missed its initial IMF targets to rebuild foreign exchange reserves before heavy intervention last week. The country makes up almost half of the IMF's roughly $125 billion in outstanding lending worldwide, far ahead of other big borrowers such as Ukraine and Egypt. This is how libertarians work. Always and forever. The U.S. Treasury Scott Bessent has said all options are on the table for the Trump administration to support Argentina through a bout of severe market volatility. Trump endorsed Milei on camera today when he was asked about the bailouts.
We have a lot of meetings scheduled, but I wanted to meet with the president of Argentina, and we both wanted to meet with friends. He's done a fantastic job, and I'm doing something that I don't often do. I'm giving a full endorsement to him. We just endorsed him for president. As you know, he has a race coming up, and I'm sure he's going to do well, but now I think this hopefully assures it. And to the people of Argentina, we're backing him 100%. We think he's done a fantastic job. He, like us, inherited a mess. And
bro, that's how you know he's been dog shit, okay? Make no mistake. That is how you know he's been dog shit, because our dog shit president is endorsing him. That's enough. That's enough for me to know he sucks. But it's cool. Argentina is also very firmly committed to the continuation of Israel's genocide, so they're the good guys. God, I fucking hate this world so much. We are, like, we're cooking everybody, man. We're taking everybody out with us.
what he's done to fix it is good, and Scott is working.
Yeah, he's so good, so good. Pretty illustrative of the sheer madness of our era that this news is barely registering. South Korea's sitting president literally just said that paying the imperial tribute demanded by the U.S. would bankrupt his country. Well, at least he's less cucked than the EU leaders. We Europeans were told by von der Leyen that our own $1+ trillion tribute deserved our gratitude to President Trump personally for his leadership, and that it would somehow benefit us. Yeah. This is why I said empires don't die quietly, okay? They strike all around to its closest allies as well on their way out.
That wasn't bad. Now we can get out of here.
I mean, dude, just on optics alone, man, just on fucking optics alone, how do you vote for a guy that looks like this, bro? How do you get yourself to vote for a dude that looks like that? You are so unimaginably stupid. You looked at a guy that looks like that and you were like, that's my guy. So fucking stupid.
We're also using tariffs to defend our sovereignty and security throughout the world, including against nations that have taken advantage of former U.S. administrations for decades, including the most corrupt, incompetent administration in history, the sleepy Joe Biden administration. Brazil now faces major tariffs in response to its unprecedented efforts to interfere in the rights and freedoms of our American citizens and others with censorship, repression, weaponization, judicial corruption, and targeting of political critics in the United States. I have a little...
Dog, he's just mad that Brazil actually did the thing that like a competent government is supposed to do in the aftermath of a political opposition party engaging in lawfare, unjustly prosecuting their political opponents, jailing them, and then also doing a failed insurrection. That's what you're supposed to do. It's like the bare minimum. What do you mean? And he's just mad. He's just mad that there is a major country out there, a major power out there, a regional power, that is competent enough to do that. He's like, oh, I don't want anybody to learn the wrong lessons here. Lula is doing to Bolsonaro what the Democrats should have done to Donald Trump.
Europe is in serious trouble. They've been invaded by a force of illegal aliens like nobody's ever seen before. Illegal aliens are pouring into Europe. Nobody's doing anything to change it, to get them out. It's not sustainable. And because they choose to be politically correct, they're doing just absolutely nothing about it. And I have to say, I look at London, where you have a terrible mayor, terrible, terrible mayor.
This is a shot at Zohran, by the way. You think he's like talking to Sadiq Khan, but he's actually making a statement in New York about the upcoming mayor, Zohran Mamdani, which, for the record, is so crazy for the American president to state. Like, this is so fucking racist. Like, the other version of this is like, the Jews are controlling New York and they want to, have you seen the Talmud? Have you seen the Talmud? They want to do Talmud things in New York. They want to call it Jew York. Like, that's what this is. And the reason why I have to flip the script in this way is because, like, that's the only thing that Americans fucking are tuned into, that they can comprehend. They just can't see it as, like, Islamophobia as a real thing, as a real bigotry, a real form of bigotry. It's so crazy.
Now they want to go to Sharia law, but you're in a different country. You can't
No one is doing that. Shut the fuck. Oh my God.
do that. Both the immigration and their suicidal energy ideas will be the death of Western Europe if something is not done immediately. This cannot be sustained.
Is he mentally ill? Yes, he is a mentally ill fascist. That's what it is. He is an insane fascist. Fascism, in the most like permissible version right now internationally, is against Muslims. You could just be like, you could say anything and everything is because of Islam. Okay. What used to get a lot of play in fascist circles in like the 30s was blaming everything on the Jews. Now they blame everything on Islam. That's it. That is a more appropriate target because Israel obviously exists and Israel itself is a fascist entity. And therefore, there is this like international coalition of other fascist powers and fascist politicians that see Israel as a like-minded enterprise. You have to always have an enemy. Fascists always have to have an immediate outgroup that is somehow responsible for everything that's going on. Now is Muslims. Yeah. Nick Fuentes says Israel's a bigger gross positive to America than Muslims. By the way, isn't that fucking nuts that like these guys so quickly were like, actually this neo-Nazi Nick Fuentes, like, as long as he like lowers the temperature on like his overt anti-Semitism, he's good by us.
Do you think has been a bigger net positive to America?
Like, he's on fucking Patrick Bet David. He's everywhere now. Immediately, everyone was like, actually, this is great. Like, the word Nazi has no fucking power anymore. And I know people will say, oh, it's because you called everything Nazi. This guy is a fucking straight up Holocaust denying neo-Nazi, right? Like, he's just straight up. It's like the most unacceptable position you can have in American politics. Obviously, white supremacy doesn't get the same level of play. But now that Israel has basically depleted all of its cultural cachet, by actively, all of these advocacy groups have depleted all of their legitimacy by constantly defending Israel. This is not even a point of contention anymore. It's no longer an issue. It's actually a positive. Being anti-Semitic is seen as like as being an earnest, an honest, good faith actor, a guy who says things that are too hard for people to fucking comprehend. But of course, guys who are engaging or trafficking in anti-Semitic conspiracies, who claim that they're anti-Israel, seemingly don't have all that much issue with Israel when push comes to shove. You can't trust fascists ever, okay? It's that simple. But Hazi is still right about Israel. No, he's not. It's just a talking point, man. It's just a talking point. And you dummies are already fucking eating it. He doesn't give a shit. He just wants to fucking deport everyone and anyone that is not considered white in this country. That's it. His hatred for Israel only stems from what he believes is Jewish control, okay? But he still, at the end of the day, absolutely fucking despises Muslims, black people, more than he despises the state of Israel. It's so crazy that, like, a lot of people just ate up this propaganda and were like, well, he was always anti-Israel. It's like, yeah, he was, okay? He was. He's anti-Semitic, he's anti-Israel, but obviously his more consequential agenda here is not to fucking make America decouple from Israel or make America recalculate its allegiance to Israel, as is my goal, right? Because Israel is a violent, settler, colonial, criminal entity that is objectively fascist. In its inception, its ideology is fascist, its ideology is ethno-religious supremacist, it's exterminationist, it's doing a fucking genocide. So if you don't have those kinds of opinions, even if you every now and then bring that up in an effort to win favor with like a lot of fucking dummies, and you just simply think that it's like Jewish control over America or something because of the Talmud or whatever the fuck this guy says, then you're not actually all that invested in the Israel narratives. You're just simply using that to communicate your earnesty. And as the attitude has shifted against Israel, he has become one of the primary truth tellers, in air quotes, on Israel, because he's been punished so much for his anti-Semitism. But ultimately, he is a room reader. And as a room reader, he recognizes that if he moderates his position now, then he can maybe capture the attention of larger swaths of the Republican Party's youth and keep pushing the Republican Party to lean further and further into mass deportation and punishing people for being communists, punishing people for being socialists, punishing people for being black and brown.
But it's difficult to say on that because I also think that there's quite a bit of a detriment. I think that the melting pot comes from the Jewish community.
What do you mean by that?
The idea of the melting pot, that comes from a Jewish playwright, because Jewish people come to America and like all immigrants, they say, well, we want America to be more welcoming. So they start to spin up these ideas that, well, America was never the...
Like, this is pure fascist propaganda, right? Like, the notion that America is a diverse country, and it's the same thing that the Nazis said about the Jews in the past. The idea that, like, we can't be multicultural and there is a superior culture that is being eradicated deliberately by this monolithic force of Jews that are single-handedly changing American collective consciousness into being more open-minded to immigration, and that this is not simply born out of, by the way, his name is Nicholas Fuentes, for the record. He is literally Hispanic, but I'm not even going to get into that. But basically, this is pure fascist belief. This scary out group is actually coming in to the superior Western culture, superior white country, and is making it by force multicultural in an effort to destroy it. This is exactly what the Nazis believed, and this is exactly what Nick Fuentes believes, because he's a fucking Nazi.